Moonbase Alpha Status Report. 5,479 days since now returning into Earth orbit. This is Dr. Helena Russell recording. John Koenig and I have decided to remain on Alpha after Operation Exodus was completed. The interpretation is that the Lunar Commission is going to reassign a new group of personnel to Alpha, since all of the main personnel that operated the base have now returned to Earth to begin new lives. John Koenig and I feel that Earth is not the place that it was when we left. We don't feel safe there. We don't think that it's best for us to remain other than on the base, to try to keep it operating until replacements of key positions can be brought here from Earth. We have a liaison officer who is in contact with John on a daily basis. We give them requests, and they do all they can to help us to get those things that we need to maintain life on Alpha. We were self-supporting during the time we were in space, and now that we have returned into Earth orbit, it is not relatively a feasible means for us to continually ask for assistance, since we have everything we've always needed. But the Lunar Commission owns this base because it is a government-funded program. Therefore, we are under their strict guidelines. They allow us to remain on the base as not only assistance to keep it operating, but once the new personnel have been returned to the base, we will reacquire our positions. I will be in charge of Medical Center, and John will retain his position as the commander of Moonbase Alpha. The Commission at this time has requested that I and another member of our Alpha support team begin an overview of areas of Alpha that would need immediate personnel duty at rousters. These are sections of Alpha that maintain areas of life, the nuclear power stations, other areas that need immediate replacement of personnel, which me and John cannot maintain over any length of time. Tony Badeschi, who was one of our main assistant commanders and helped during times that John was on missions to other planets, is going to return here from Earth to assist me, and together we hope to be able to acquire a detailed roster of those key sections of Alpha that would need personnel immediately. Funding is still uncertain as far as how many they will bring from Earth. The training is not going to be a problem because most of the personnel who return to Earth are willing to train any new members who join Alpha in the future. So all we have to do is to determine how many we need, and then the International Lunar Commission will then allocate funding for those key personnel, and we will have them sent by Eagle here from Earth.
Greetings to you, Dr. Helena Russell, and also to Commander Koenig. I understand that he's presently out in the field doing research and basic exploration for various elements that the base needs for normal operations. This is just a follow-up to what the Commission had already mentioned to you and Tony when y'all were assigned to come to Alpha. We want a detailed overview of those duty sections that require immediate personnel replacement today or within the next 48 hours. We're looking at trying to transport them in at least 2 Eagles and then have them on station roughly within 72 hours to begin their duties, and this way we'll know where they need to be today or tomorrow. So the sooner that you and Tony can get to this task, it'll be much easier for y'all later on, and then it'll give you and the commander the chance to get away from the base for a while. And I think that makes a lot more sense to you, Dr. Russell, even if it doesn't make any sense to the commander, to get at least a small group of people on the base again who then can initialize constant observation of the systems, the surroundings of the base, and just to maintain security, make sure nothing is not where it should not be, and get back with the commission as soon as anything is detected as soon as possible. That's a lot to do if it's just you and the commander. Tony is definitely there for the transition of the new personnel to help you and the commander out. Long term, I'm not sure if he'll be reassigned to Earth. Alan Carter has already made the assumption he will be transferred because he'll be our main Eagle pilot. He'll transport all the personnel from the commission's offices directly to the base, and then vice versa. So I would say the faster y'all can both work together and get the information in here to us, faster we can go ahead and initiate getting the transportation started for the replacement personnel that are going to be needed there. I had a request from the commission, Dr. Russell, to ask, is your food processing and recycling plants capable of handling post-return to the moon and Earth as far as feeding the new personnel? Are you going to have any delays in getting all of that initiated? If it's functioning and if it's already in place, then that's going to allow us to get the personnel to you quicker, and then you won't have to think that it's going to be a nuisance to get these folks to you. So I'm just going to leave it at that for the time being. Be sure to tell Tony that we aren't in any rush for him to come back. If he needs to stay on Alpha for any durational extended period of time to complete his analysis, and really just to help out you, Dr. Russell, while you're there, please just tell him he's under no constraints as far as his time limits, because we think he'll probably be better in the position he was when. That's why they chose to place him as second in command of Alpha, because he had the will, the ability to do anything that was asked of him, and it worked very well. So I would just say keep us advised, but also know that the main concern here now is getting these stats to the primary commissioner, Mr. Rudinsky, as soon as possible. The faster he looks at it, the faster he'll evaluate and approve the funding, and then the personnel can get straight up there to you by Eagle. We are going to look at beginning a limited nuclear disposal attachment of storage bins and things we have a way to much more isolate and conceal the radiation in lead containers than probably what you were using in 1999, and it will allow you to safely move it without having to take any special precautions as far as what you wear in the machine. The lifter hasn't got to be specially radiation checked periodically, that sort of thing. It's not going to require any kind of radiation protection, because the cases are going to be so fully lined that the radiation should be held within each canister. We are considering to transport that up, not at the time that the personnel come, but maybe on that next shipment. So just let the commander and also Tony know that these are in the works, they're about to be initiated, and they don't have to consistently wonder or worry about what's happening next. So if y'all have concerns about this and the safety procedures that we follow, we're more than willing to get that information to you. We could send it straight to your mainframe computer, or even to your comm locks if each person wants to read it on his own. And this way, when the stuff arrives, it's not going to be a problem, because you already know. You'll know exactly what you're going to be doing. And safety is absolutely tantamount to us. We want to make sure you're safe and that it gets done. It gets sent where it's supposed to be, and make sure that it's buried, each and every one buried separately somewhere else. Displace it, keep it from being in some sort of a massive position place where it cannot build a magnetic arc or a high dosage of radiation that would actually make it affect everything else in the area. We don't want that. And we'll let the commander know this thing as soon as he returns from his geographic or geological survey that he's doing currently on the lunar surface. So I would say let him have his field day. Get away from the base, away from the stress, and then when he does come back, please let him know that these are in the works and that they have begun already, and we want to help him to prepare for the personnel that will be coming, as well as this new stockpile of medium to low grade radiated or radioactive materials. And we also want you to know that Maya is working with the Commission to try to estimate how long will it be before we have a similar firestorm at the Antarctic and Arctic sites, just as we had with the firestorm at Waste Disposal Area 1, and that was back in 1996, I think. And we want to try and figure out what we should do if this happens again on Earth. Because what can it do? It could become a massive stockpile that could explode, but you still have to have an atomic trigger to do that. The electromagnetic pulse of it could potentially cause serious problems too, and we want to keep all of that under evaluation.